Imagine one day you're sitting in Paris, you're sitting there having a fucking coffee, and terrorists roll through with AKs. The person next to you has their brains blown out. You're gonna stand there and be like, waiting to die like a motherfucker. I'm gonna be like, bang, oh, I've seen that before. Okay, boom, boom, duck and dive in, take one terrorist out, next get the AK, go Rambo, take out all of fucking Pakistan with a G. I don't play games.
Hey there guys, it's me, Lemon Disaster, and I'm here with another video. So, it's been a while since I posted something, but I didn't really have anything that was worthwhile. There was stuff I've been recording, but I just didn't like it because I wasn't saying much of anything. So, I just had something that I kind of wanted to talk about because I was just thinking about it just now. The idea is kind of inspired by another YouTube channel called Domingos. You should check him out. He had a video talking about do Hans hold better conversations than Jen? So this had me thinking, right? Because in my varsity years, I'm in my third year of varsity, baby. That's right. I have a couple female friends who I talk to. Compared to with high school, right? In high school, I didn't really have that many. I didn't really have any female friends. I probably had like 2 friends who were like female, 2, maybe 4, right? But for the most part, I didn't really have female friends like that, so I wasn't really talking to girls that much. So a lot of differences between how girls and boys talk to each other, I didn't have the XP to really contrast those kinds of the interactions. But yeah, one thing I was kind of talking about. One thing that Domingos brings up in his videos is how with gents there's a tendency to only have one topic for a conversation, and we kind of stick with that topic for a long time. So say for example, if we take it back to the school environment, we're just having one conversation about soccer or whatever other kind of sport, and just that one topic the entire time. Which yeah, it's a fair point, because it is kind of true that as gents we tend to when we conversate, we tend to stick to one point for an extended period, right? Whereas girls, they tend to shift topics quite a bit. You talk about a lot of different things, then we come to mind to them. And I don't know if that has something to do with the way men and women are wired. Maybe women just have I don't know, something in their brain that makes them not want to stick to one thing for too long. Whereas Jen, and I think that kind of does speak to something, right? Because if you're someone who knows even the smallest bit of knowledge of African philosophy, right? There's the concept of the mother mind and the warrior mind. So the mother mind is the feminine aspect of everybody's mind. Every person has this, and every person has both the mother and the warrior mind, right? So the mother mind is the feminine aspect, the nurturing mindset, the caring mindset, just more feminine things, the gentle aspect of a person, so to speak, and the creative aspect of a person's mind. And then there's the warrior mind, right, which is aggression, but also focus and logic, right? The logical part of your mind. Even science backs up this concept where you have the left and the right side of the brain, where the left side of your brain is the logic center. Most of your logical processes are in your left brain, the left side of your brain. And then the right side, more of your creative aspects and more emotional elements are in the right side of your brain, right? So this is a scientifically true concept. Everybody does have both a masculine and a feminine aspect to their psyche. Everybody. I think because the warrior mind, right? As Credo Muta, may he rest in peace, once said, right? It's how the warrior mind is very logical and straight. It thinks in one direction, It's focused on what's in front of you and we move forward. That's the warrior's mind. That's the warrior mind, right? So as men, because as men we are just gonna be more masculine by our nature, we tend to focus on one thing for extended periods. This is how we are, because our masculinity is heightened because of our maleness, right? So when we conversate, we'll talk about one thing, we'll talk about middies, talk about girls the whole time. we're talking about girls for like a whole 30 minutes. Like, hey, hey man, remember that one hun? Hey bro, hey man, check out a fat ass. Hey, you know that girl, man. Hey, you know this girl. Hey, this girl's a bitch. You know, hey, you know, girls are the Illuminati. You know, just like cycling through that same. Like, we're talking about like different aspects of like girl interactions with girls, but the main topic is girls, and it's gonna stay on that topic for like 30 minutes, right? As gents. If it's sports, we're gonna talk about, you know, I'm not into soccer personally, right? That much. I watch it very casually. But my friends are really into soccer. So those niggas will be talking about like, I remember back in high school, these niggas would be talking about like league games and all that shit. Talking about like league standings, you know, which team is the best. I had one friend of mine who's a fan of Liverpool. And like niggas were always on his ass because like Liverpool was like one of like the better teams in the Premier League, right? But like it didn't have any major accolades in like pretty much 30 years at this point, right? I don't know if anything like if there's any been big developments about Liverpool. Like I said, I don't follow football, but I'll always be on his ass about him being a Liverpool fan. Now I was like, man, the Manchester United niggas are suffering now as well. You know, it's their turn to suffer now. Arsenal, you know, they've pretty much just always been in the trenches, so you know, the Arsenal fans have just accepted defeat at this point. You know, they don't even hope for Arsenal to win the league. Just like, you know, as long as like, you know, they're fighting for top 4, you know, top 10 on the league standings. Anyway, that's besides the point. But like, Jens will be sticking to that one point. Niggas are talking about LeBron for like how you gonna be talking about LeBron for 20 minutes, bro? Get off that nigga's dick, bro. LeBron James. Ugh. I'm kidding, by the way. He's one of the best players of in the history of the game, okay, in the history of the NBA. I'm just saying, I'm just joking, but like, I'm just saying, like, how can you talk about like one nigga in the States who's making huge racks playing a game every day? You know, it's kind of crazy that we niggas are like that. We've been talking about music, bro, talking about hip hop, talking about artists, bro. Like I remember back in high school, niggas were always talking about freaking Playboy Cardi, Gucci Mane, Chief Keef. I even have one homie of mine, we call him Sosa. Because of that. We'll be talking about the same thing, man. This nigga, if he's watching this video, he knows. Like, we'll just be talking about the same thing for like the whole 15 minutes of break, the whole 20 minutes of break, like the whole time, dog. We'd even be late to class because we're spending so much time talking about BS, bro. Whereas like women, right, girls and women, right, because they are women, their femininity comes out more. Their mother mind is stronger than it is in the male psyche, right? So the mother mind, unlike the warrior mind, which thinks only in a straight logical direction, the mother mind can think in the warrior mind is one dimensional, whereas the mother mind is like 2 dimensional. That's like a second axis. You know, it's up, down, left, right. You know, it's 2 dimensional, almost 3 dimensional, really, right? And I think that's why Hans do like cycle through like conversation topics, like, bro, they'll be talking about like, yo, you know that one girl, oh, you know that one lecturer, hey, you know, I really like this one series, hey, you know, I saw that one guy is so hot, they just keep shifting conversation. Like it's an ever evolving conversation. It doesn't stick to one point for too long, you know, and it's interesting. Just to like, you know, pay attention to that, cause like the feminine mind has like more, it thinks in more than one direction, you know, whereas the masculine mind kind of stick to one thing for prolonged periods. And you know, maybe that's to do with like when we were hunter-gatherers, right? You know, the men were normally the ones out hunting, so you know, when you're hunting, you gotta like stalk your prey, you gotta like go around, track it, then once you find it, you gotta stalk it, you gotta follow it, you gotta stay focused for an extended period of time on this one task, right? Whereas like women were the ones, they were the ones out gathering, you know, right? They were the gatherers and hunter-gatherers. You know, you have to think left, right, up and down. You have to see, is the fruits here, is the berries here, the nuts here, are there any like herbs here, is there any like dangerous animals nearby, so we're not like caught off guard, you know, just watching around. So maybe that's why like the female psyche is always like, you know, moving around. You know what I mean? I think maybe that's why, like, you know, the feminine aspect of your mind, the mother mind, the creative side of your mind, why it tends to be like that, you know. Who knows? You know, that's just my personal idea. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a scientist. I'm just talking out of my ass right now. But I sound like I'm making sense, right? Like that sounds like reasonable, right? Right? I'm not just like going insane, right? Like I'm not going insane, guys, right? I think like one thing that always kind of throws me off though is when like Hans starts talking about like things like their biology, if you catch my drift, you know. Remember, there's this one girl. She's like, she's one of my friends, and she's in like my class. So we're like explaining to like in college, by the way. So like we're doing like group assignment stuff. So she's like with her group, which is like not that far from where I am, but you know, I hear so I'm like in perfect earshot of their conversation. And at some point, the whole conversation is talking about like boob sizes and shit. And I'm like, bro, like, and they say this like really loud, bro. Like someone from the other side of the class could hear what they were saying, bro. Like I was like, bro, but why are you talking about your heat, man? Calm down. I'm just like Hans sometimes have that tendency and it's kind of awkward, you know. When conversations are like that, when the conversation goes to that direction, I tend to just keep quiet. So I'm just there like, you know, I'm just there like listening to them talk, bro. Cause like I can't relate. There's nothing meaningful I can add. And I mean, bro, like I don't even need to ask questions because they pretty much say everything, bro. Like when girls talk about like their biology, man, they go into like graphic detail. I don't even need to ask questions because I'm hearing everything. That's by virtue of the conversation. And it's there like, bro, that's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but I mean, I don't know. But like, I actually remember like there was one time I was back in my first year, like I was with like this group of hands, right? And they were talking and he went to that direction. So like I legit just like evacuated the conversation, bro. Like I saw like my one other homie. He was talking to two other niggas I don't know, and it's like I was weighing my odds because like for me, like I'm like a very quiet, reserved person, right? So and I'm very awkward around like people I don't know, right? So I'm thinking, alright, there's this awkward ass conversation about these girls talking about the time of the month. Or I can just go up to my one homie. And I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm like, okay guys, I'll be right back. Walk up to the homie, to the two other niggas that were there, I greeted them, you know. And like, you know, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, low key, because I got to know those guys. They became my friends eventually, you know. Especially this year, third year, I think I become like a proper like I'm closer to this nigga than I was before. Like, you know, I can actually like call this nigga like my friend. But yeah. My point simply like that was like a blessing in disguise. But either way, man, that was a really awful conversation. It's like there's nothing I can add, there's nothing I can say. There is nothing I can add to this conversation. So, but yeah, like in general, anyone when you start gossiping, you know, I don't like female gossip, especially when you start talking about someone that you know. Cause I'm like, hey, bro, I ain't about that, bro. I don't like gossip in general. Like, when there's situations like that, I either evacuate or like I just sit there quietly and listen. I'm not gonna add, especially asking for my opinion. Like, I'm just gonna sit there though. Like, like, hey, what do you think about my mom? Hey, bro, I don't know. Like, that's tough. I'm not gonna say anything that deep, bro. Like another thing I think about sometimes is just like when gents and Hans talk from outside perspective. So what I mean is like, say for example we talk about like vulnerability, right? With men, like, oh men not vulnerable, men need to talk about their feelings more. And I'm like, sure, but like niggas already do that, dog. Amongst each other, like men talk about their feelings all the time. Not like, you know, dude, like I'm so stressed because like this assignment is like so tough and like this girl like said no to me and like, no, bro, niggas don't talk like that. when niggas talk about their feelings, they don't talk like that, you know. Like I feel like women especially have this perception that like, because there's a way women talk about their feelings, right? They're not vulnerable and whatever, and they kind of like project that idea onto men because as society we've kind of like popped up the way women we kind of fucked up the way women express themselves, because they're like, oh, women are the more emotional creatures, you know, compared to men. And so we think that women know how to handle emotions better. So that means the way, because they handle them in a more intense way and they are more emotional, they know how to deal with emotions better, and thus the way they deal with emotions is automatically better than the way men do, which is false. There are many women who are terrible at dealing with emotions, who are very insensitive, and who have emotional problems and deficiencies. That's how you end up with these girls who are for the streets and all these things. They have emotional deficiencies. Okay, man, that's just what it is. So it's not like women are automatically better at dealing with emotions than men. It ultimately comes down to an individual basis, not a gender basis. Like, so where women have this perception that men are not emotional, but like a lot of niggas are very emotional. Sometimes even more so than men. Because I think as gents we take emotion more seriously than hun. Because we don't just talk about like every emotion that we have, you know. Like you can tell how a nigga feels about something by how he talks about it. Women, and that's like a thing, like maybe I'm just not like super emotional of a person, but I just find it weird that like there's this expectation that makes us be vulnerable. It's whatever, man. I don't really want to get too much on that point. I don't want to get too much in the weed. I think too much into the weeds, because like I think like this video is really long enough as it is, but it's just like some of the things I kind of picked up on, the differences between how men and women interact. And especially as a gent, especially because like in high school I didn't have that many female friends. I was pretty much only with niggas, you know, just like a sausage fest 80% of the time, you know. It also didn't help that I got no hoes back in high school, which I mean, it's not like I got any hoes now, bro. Like I got like a net total of 0, so like, you know, I get no bitches, man. I get no bitches.
I gave you my heart, I gave you everything, I gave you all of it.
You didn't give me pussy. You didn't give me pussy. I am a man, I